Welcome to Kick 'Em in the Head, a podcast that takes an inside look at the world of mixed martial arts, featuring interviews with some of the top fighters from South Africa and around the world, with a focus on the EFC and UFC promotions. I'm your host, Yao. Join us as we delve deep into the techniques, strategies, and mindsets of these world-class athletes, learning from their experiences and gaining insights into what it takes to succeed in the toughest sport on earth.
Good evening. Hola, my brother. How are you? Welcome, everyone, to the Kick 'Em in the Head podcast. We haven't been live in a while, and tonight we have with us the Fight Week show, my brother from the UK, an MMA fan extraordinaire. Hola, how are you doing tonight?
Oh, thank you so much, Yao, for that introduction right there. I'm doing all right, and big up to everybody that fucks with Kick 'Em in the Head, the Head Kick podcast. Salute to you guys. You guys are doing great work. I see the work you guys are doing in South Africa. I keep telling you whenever you pull up on a platform, I'm jealous, man, because you meet all my heroes, bro. You know what I mean? But there you go. Thank you very much for that introduction, man. And big love to you, man. Big love.
I appreciate it. Thank you for making the time. I think we're going to get straight into it because, as always, we have a jam-packed show filled with MMA talk. And let's start with this past weekend in the UFC with oh my gosh, that is the wrong one. Blanchfield versus Firoz this coming weekend. Blanchfield versus Firoz happening this coming weekend, UFC Fight Night. And it's one that, for me, it's a little bit exciting, specifically because Manon Firoz is a former EFC champ. And as we've been talking about over the past few weeks, with the spotlight that's currently on South Africa, having another champion from the EFC running through the ranks of the UFC is another gold star for us. I'm very excited about this fight night.
Yeah,
what are you feeling about?
It's a decent card, especially with the likes of Luke and Buckley as well. But as you mentioned earlier on about Manon Fiorot, she's got a extensive trailblaze at the organization with EFC. As we know that they're probably the biggest in Africa. I would say maybe the biggest in South Africa as well. And we know this sort of produce that that's come out the promotion. So we like when things trailblaze like that coming out of Africa. And Manon Fiorot is another one. She got a win against Rose Namajunas that we watched over the weekend, and she picked up a win to get herself back into the running. So we will see what she does this weekend against Blanchfield. Erin Blanchfield has been on a tear. She's dangerous, but we know what Manon Fiorot is capable of doing. We know she's dangerous as well, and she can look after herself in the octagon. So very, very interesting fight to watch, and one that we'll be definitely be keeping an eye on.
I think so. And I think the co-main that they have in this coming fight night is also a very interesting one at welterweight with Vicente Luque, who's been, he's on and off. He wins and then he doesn't win. He's still looking for a title shot. We'll see what he does versus the Ninja Man himself, Joaquin Buckley. And, with his viral head kick, we're hoping that something special happens.
Kick him in the head!
That's right. We hope he can give us some more of that. And we also know Vicente Luque is a vicious kicker. So that's also going to be a fight that's going to really be exciting.
Yeah, 100%. You're absolutely right there. Vicente Luque versus Joaquin Buckley. These two dangerous when it comes to finishes. We've seen them finish fights in so many different ways, which is one of the reasons why this bout in itself it's exciting, because at some point somebody's going to start looking for that finish. Mm-hmm. And I'm expecting one in this fight, definitely. But the one thing we do know about Vicente Luque is he's dangerous everywhere. You could end up in a DAS, you could end up in a guillotine, you could end up with a head kick, you could end up with anything from Vicente Luque. You could also end up on the other end of a point scoring win from Vicente Luque. So you just never know what you're gonna get, and that's one of the reasons why this fight is so fascinating. And again, another one to definitely keep an eye on. I like the main event and the co-main, definitely.
I think so, and I think with us leading up, obviously, to UFC 299, which is going to be a big one. Excuse me.
Bless you, bless
Prior
you,
to
bless you.
UFC 300, it's nice to see them. Excuse me. Clearly, the MMA gods don't want me talking more
Oh,
about this fight night.
all that photo is doing you dirty, bro. That yeah, we see where you've been, bro. We see where you've been on.
So you know what's ironic is that was actually last year. I was having FOMO from not being there this year.
That was for last year, the one we saw. Whoa. Well, whatever that was, it must still be dealing with you, man. But hey, look, these things
Still in
these
the
things
system.
happen, man. These things happen. We're wrong with it, man. We're wrong with it. We're live.
But yeah, so that's what's coming this coming weekend. But I think speaking back to this past weekend, like you mentioned, Rose Namajunas, who Manon Fiorot recently had a win over. She was fighting in the headline fight against Amanda Ribas this coming weekend, and
Yep.
it was a very interesting fight night. I think let's start with that main event. I think Rose, she's gone up a weight class, and from how the fight went, I think she really proved the fact that, irrespective of the fact that she's gone up, had to fight a heavier fighter. She actually showed that she's got the skills, she's got the talent to actually still win. And I think it was a good headline fight this time around. How did you find that fight?
It was good. It was definitely good for Rose in the actual sense of getting back in the win column, because we know the last fight against Manon Fiorot, when she stepped up to 125, didn't work out too well for her according to the judges, but the judges favored her this time. And I thought she put in an excellent effort. Rebus is no pushover, and them two headlined the card for a reason, and it was gonna be almost, because Rose is this sort of person that you think if she takes too many L's continuously, especially when she just put on a fresh coat of paint, going to 125, she might start thinking about hanging it up, because we've kind of recently, not too recent, but a little while ago, kind of seen that from Rose, where she just took a little step back from the sport. So this win was good for her psychologically. It's going to help her, continue her quest in the flyweight division. And who knows, because it's all over the place at the moment. Well, it's not all over the place, but we've got Alexa Grasso and Shevchenko all locking horns, maybe for the third time, because we've seen some kind of announcement that those two are going to be the tough coaches, the ultimate fighter coaches. So whoever's in that division that's looking to be the champion will have to wait till they've had the third dance. So it gives Rose a little bit of time to try and navigate the division and see if she can end up and start knocking on the door of the top five. And once you start doing that, you're only a fight or two away from seeing the champion. So we'll keep an eye on that. We know Rose, very very talented, and a coach as well, Trevor Whitman. They're doing fantastic jobs over there in Denver. We know about Trevor Whitman with the coaches. I mean, with the students that I had in Kamaru Usman, the BMF champion in Justin Gaethje. We know how dangerous he is, and of course Rose Namajunas. So there's definitely work to be done, and it's one for the fans to definitely pay attention to.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very exciting. What comes out of that division and what comes out of this fight, but what comes out of her career going forward. But on this card, there's two other fights I want to talk about. Two
Yeah.
fights. The first one is Talbot versus Simon. I have to give a shout out to our boy Cameron Simon.
Yeah.
Now in this picture, he's taking a knee from Talbot, and that knee landed flush. And I just want to say shout out to Cameron for the chin. You lost the fight, TKO, but he went down fighting. The ref had to stop it. He didn't get knocked out. So big ups. On to the next one. That's how fights go. So yeah, salute Cameron.
Yeah, man. Salute to Cameron, man. I sent him a little message. Hope you're recovering well, my bro. I do think, from when especially when that knee landed. I thought, oh shit, did they put him out? But from when Cameron got back up, he displayed why he's MSP. Because the whole time until the ref pulled him up, I kept saying this brother's tough. This brother's tough as hell. I don't know how he's still here. He is tough as hell. And he showed heart. He showed a lot of heart. And a lot of Cameron Simon fans should not be too disappointed with with this performance because of the heart that he showed. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, maybe Talbot was just one or two steps away or two steps ahead, but it doesn't take away from the heart and the display that Cameron showed. And we know Cameron's going to be back. He'll go to the drawing board. He's got one of the best people around him, one of the best teams around him. He's got a top coach around him, and his gym are going to rally around him. And he get back to the drawing board, and you get right back to it. I just want to wish him well, and I want to, and that goes for his whole team as well that helped him prepare for this fight. But when we talk about the fight in itself and just strip everything back and just look at the fight, Talbot, you gotta give him his flowers. He looked fantastic in the octagon. Um, really, really complete fighter, I'd say, because I watched him in some of his fights coming up as well, and his striking is unbelievable. He's got good grappling there as well. So he's definitely one to keep an eye on. Again, this is why I love fight nights, because you start seeing all these fighters that you think to yourself, oh, you know what? Uh, we, we know who you are now. You announced yourself to us, and this was one of those performances. It's just ill luck for Cameron that taking a fight against somebody like C-Rod that didn't make weight, came in at 140. That has to be said. That put the first loss on his, but I don't really count that loss. And I've said this to Cameron personally, a few times that loss there don't count. You didn't lose at 135, you lost at 140, bro. You know what I mean? So this is probably, I would say, this is his first proper 135 loss, and we should look at it as such. And like I said, he'll be back. He'll be back. I truly believe that, and I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for him 100%.
I agree. He'll be back and he'll be better than ever. It's like you said, one of those things that happens in fights. He was looking great. But the other fight where you could say the fighter was looking great and the fight didn't go as expected is what is now being called the bite of the night.
Oh my God. I've never
let me let you tell
anything like
us
it.
tell us what are we looking at right now, Ola? Tell us what we're looking at right now.
Bro, it's not just the bite of the night. Let is the moron of the night. I have to go there, bro. And I hate disrespecting fighters like that. But I have to go there. It's the moron of the fucking night. How do you have this guy, right? Lima was fence grabbing. He was fence grabbing so bad, the ref was about to take points off of him. You're in the round, you're about to, like, he was about to win that fight. And then I don't know what moment of madness, what possessed him to do something like this. Because when the refs stopped the fight, I thought, oh, he's about to go and grab Lima and show him around, and -1 man for fence grabbing. And then all of a sudden, they're calling the doctor in. He's showing in the arm, but you could see him telling during the grapple exchange, you could see him telling the ref, like, yo, this brother's biting me, this brother biting me, but didn't really kind of believe it until the ref called timeout, and then they had a proper look at it. I don't know why they needed a VAR for that. I don't know why they needed a replay. I mean, from when you look at that and it's showing you that, and you come on, you don't need no replay. He didn't do that to himself, So yeah, that was crazy. That was absolutely crazy, man. And I'm glad he got the firing from Dana White. There's no room for that in the sport. The rules are there. No eye gouging, no headbutt, none of that crazy shit. You know what I mean? You want to do that, You can go and do that in one of them backyard, one of them backyard fightings, you know. But I don't know, man. Something
Not
got
here,
over
not
him.
at this level.
100%.
Not here, not this level. I agree with you 100%. And it's quite interesting, especially because he was advancing at the point that he bit. It's something that Michael Bisping said on his podcast that almost doesn't make sense. If you're being choked out or if your opponent is attacking you and you bite, makes sense. But he was advancing and he bit. So it's like you said, the moral of the night. It's highly illogical
It makes no
that
sense.
someone would do that.
I'm still baffled. I said in our WhatsApp group that, bro, this shit boggles the mind. I can't understand it. I'm trying to fathom it because, in my opinion, we see these fighters all the time. They step into the cage, but they're the final product of months and months of work on end by their various team players, their coaches, their nutritionists, the physios, everybody that glued them together to get ready for a fight, a professional fight at that, right? And then you go and do that because you're not just letting yourself down, you're letting the whole team down. You can't just go, you can't do that. It's not like you don't know the rules. Like to get to a promotion like UFC, you'd have been drummed the rules. You heard this rule so many times throughout your amateur days, and you know the professional days up until reaching a promotion like the UFC. So that's why it's hard for me to. But then again, I keep thinking to myself, but we've seen the best people in the world do that. Mike Tyson comes to mind when he took off Holyfield's ear, you know. But Mike Tyson has already made it. If you fire Mike Tyson, that was never gonna do nothing. It was just sick of Holyfield, man. I thought, I'll get this brother out of here, man. You know what I mean? Let me bite his ear off and get him the hell out of here. But in this case, this guy is still coming up. You know, you just made it to the UFC, bro. Your career, you kind of killed your career
in his debut
before it even begun. It makes no sense. Bro, it baffled me, man. But it was the right result. The right call was made, and it was right to be disqualified. As far as I'm concerned,
I agree 100%. That's the way it goes. There was one other fight on the card that was somewhat interesting because he is the brother of a former champion and your countryman, Muhammad Usman, was fighting on the first card of the prelims.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it didn't go his way. By decision, he lost.
Yes, he did. I personally thought he didn't do enough to win the fight, even though it could have gone either way. But for me, it didn't really take out of the fight and show Parkin that I'm the big dog here. Parkin, coming from England, trains with Thomas Pinot, so he's got good people around there. I know some of their training partners. We talked to one of them. Shout out to Big Joffy Houghton. He trains with these guys, and they got a very, very good squad. A very tight knit squad over there, very, very disciplined, and they go about their business properly. And I'm not going to say that the motto Usman doesn't have a good team as well. I reckon he does. In Coach J-Hop looks after his career over there in Denver as well. So it just wasn't his night. That fight could have gone either way. It was that close. I don't think a lot was separating them. It ended up 29-28, and I think the correct rounds was given to Parkin in second and third round. I gave him second and third round myself.
Okay, so yeah, it was just one of those fights, and at heavyweight it can go any way. So additionally, the fact that it didn't even end up in a knockout either is also
they traded some good punches though.
That's the thing with heavyweights. If you get through those heavy punches, you've done well. So getting through a full heavyweight fight, honestly, it is somewhat of an achievement. I would say definitely. But with that said, Ola,
Mm.
we now come to my favorite part of the show. Do you know what that is?
Um, fight of the night or fighters picks.
That's right. Fighter of the
Yes,
week.
yes, fight of the week.
Woo!
That's
It's
the
time for
one.
Fighter
That's
of
the
the
one.
week.
Fight of the week. Let's go.
So I'm gonna go first today. So my fighter of the week is someone we've already spoken about on the show, and miraculously, it's not Conor McGregor. He hasn't come up yet, nor Richard Duplessis. Still not. It
Mm.
is Andre Lima.
Andre
Why?
Lima.
Because after he got bitten, and mind you, with that bite, I do not know how the his opponent Servino bit through his skin like that with a
Mhm.
gum shield on. Imagine the amount of pressure he was applying.
Yeah.
But after the fight, he went out and got a tattoo on the bite saying, "You got an effing bite bonus." And Dana White saw that and he was going to give him a 25K bonus. And Dana White then said, "Nope, I'm going to give you a 50K bonus for the tattoo." So for that reason, he is my fighter of the week.
Fantastic. Yeah, I mean, look, he deserves it. He deserves it. But the fighter for me on the whole card that really yeah, that it really impressed me. I did not see it coming. It's one of the fights on the prelims. Jano Erens against Steve Gunya. Jano Erens, bro, every single punch from the first round to the final round was hitting us hard. I mean, this brother he was throwing punches with bad intentions. Whether it smacked the face, whether it smacked the body, it was the same thud. And you heard it from round one all the way to round three. Every time it was out striking Stephen Gunyen. I didn't think he was gonna outstrike him like that. And every time they got in a tangle, he got right back to it. And it was so disciplined. Very good fight. I like that fight a lot, and that was one of the fight that I was saying to my head, I mean to myself on the night, that I can't believe this brother is still delivering the same amount of pressure in striking as he did from the first round all the way to the final bell. Really good fight. I've even gone back to watch it. I watched it again. It was that good, and yeah, if you get chance to check it back out, people, make sure you go and give that fight another watch. Jano Erens versus Steven Gunyan. Really good fight. And yeah, uh, great performance from Jano Erens there.
I'll be honest, I had never heard of John Aaron's, and I missed that fight on the main card. So I'm definitely going to go back and watch that one because it's always
No,
nice
it's
to,
on. It was on the prelims. It was on the prelims. There was a fight
yeah.
before Miles Jones and Cody Gibson.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice. Okay. Now I'll definitely go back and watch that. And anyone who's listening, definitely go watch that fight. Ola's picks are always best. He's got a competition going on with McDane, Jordan,
McDane and William.
and Will.
Yeah.
Yeah. How's that going? Tell me more about that competition before we get into the rest of the show.
This week, McDane's gonna kill me for this. So this week, I actually didn't do too bad. I did all right this week. I think I got like 7 points. McDane ended up on 2 points. We get a point per pick, and we got to pick 3 underdogs, right? So for the whole card, we pick 3 underdogs. We highest is mandatory because otherwise everybody's just picking favorites. So you pick 3 underdogs, but every fight that you get correct, you earn a point for it. And after picking all your fights, including 3 underdogs, then one of the underdogs you pick, you then pick as your underdog of the week. If that underdog pulls it off, you get triple points. So you get 3 points instead of 1 point if your underdog fighter pulls it off. So there's always incentive to give underdog a shot and pick him. So
Mhm.
that's the format of the competition. Big up to Leroy for coming up with the concept, and yeah, we're loving the concept at the moment. McDane is leading the board, I think by about 4 or 5 points, something like that. I'm second. Jordan is third, and Will is just dropped to the bottom. But yeah, close competition. But yeah, we just getting going because we got the whole year to play out. There's a lot of money at stake as well, so I'm looking forward to
What are the betting stakes?
it. It's 50 pounds, which would be about 1,200 rands over there in South Africa. So 1,200
Okay,
rands each from each of us, and we chuck it all in the pot. Winner takes 75%, second takes 25%.
that's
Gives
not
you
a bad
incentive.
purse.
No, not a bad purse at all.
That's not. Wait, is that weekly or end of the year? You tally.
End of the year for the duration of 12 months.
Speaking of betting bets and fights that could be coming, the next fight I think I want us to talk about is one that's being touted that we haven't yet quite seen happening, written down
Woo!
anywhere. It is the current lightweight champion, Islam Makhachev, versus what we would think might be the next challenger, Dustin Poirier. I'm not a big fan of the Diamond, I'll be honest. He's a great fighter, he's a phenomenal fighter. But for me, in a fight like this, I'm going Makhachev all the way, simply because Dustin does not like his back taken, and he's trying to pull off a guillotine that might never happen in his career. So we'll see how that goes. But what do you think about this fight for the lightweight division, and how do you think it would shape up?
Number one, I'm just happy that Islam is now fighting a lightweight, or defending a lightweight, because
Right.
I remember us, on the on our show, on the Fight Week show, the last time we spoke, I think, yeah, the champ was there. Shout out to Luke Michael, big up the big up young gun Luke Michael. He was with us, and I was saying to you, like, why don't any of these champion want to clear up their division? Why are they looking to fight the next guy up and the next guy up, and then it goes on and goes on and goes on like that? So the fact that he's now turning his attention to his division, fighters in the division, fighters in maybe the top five, or the ones that's not really, it's not really had opportunities with on his way up. Um, maybe it's time to start giving it, start clear, creating his own legacy. And who knows the chance that Dustin got against Makachev, because we've seen Volkanovski drop Islam. I saw that. I can't unsee it. And if Volk can do that, Dustin can definitely do that. You know what I mean? We saw what
That's a
happened
fair point.
to Dennis. What's his name? BSD? Benny Saint
Benny Saint Denis.
Yeah, Benny Saint Denis. Yeah, we saw what happened. We saw what happened with that fight. I mean, look, it's a tough spot for Dustin losing to Justin like that, and that's why I had to go back down and see somebody like Saint Denis, and to now come back and come out of that fight in a better light, because I mean, pulling guard the way he was, chasing them guillotines, you start thinking to yourself, boy, is Dustin all right? Because the way he was desperate for the guillotine, like, bro, why
I was rooting for him, to be honest. I was like, get that guillotine, boy. If you
I
want
was
that
thinking,
bad,
is he
let's
all right?
go.
I didn't know what was going on with him. But when he delivered that final finishing point, I thought, yeah, Dustin's all right, but this is all right. You know what I mean? It was just dealing with the pressure, and then we got Diamond from the type of a finish that we got there. So, the thing with Dustin as well is it's unpredictable, because there's some fights that you don't think he'll go and win, and he just excels in it. And there's fights you give him all the chance to win, and then it gets blown out of the water. So, look, I think this is good for the lightweight division, because if they put this together, there can start being some kind of movement on the treadmill for the people that really should be seeing the champion at 155.
I agree 100%. And because none of the champions are trying to clear out the divisions, I think with the exception of DDP, who's not looking up, and Pantoja, who's not looking up. Those are the only two champions right now who are saying, listen, let me stake my claim at being the best. So like you said, it's finally good to see him fighting at lightweight. He's only defended his lightweight title once. Out of all the champions in the UFC right now, there's not a single champion who has more than 2 title defenses at their weight class. I mean, the golden age of champions is gone. It doesn't seem to be coming back anytime soon because all these champs are trying to fight. Well, except for Sugar Sean. If I think about it, Sugar Sean is the only one they're still trying to protect, because if he doesn't fight Marab next, because we know that Marab, the machine, has something that can possibly challenge Sean O'Malley. If Sean loses the title anytime soon, it might be a bit of a disaster, because it's difficult to have a solid division if you have champions consistently changing. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Makhachev goes up against Poirier, and if Poirier captures it, then I mean that's another ball game in the lightweight division.
Yeah, look, it'd be wild. It'll be wild if Poirier catches it. Having said that, I don't see it happening. I just, I think Islam will be very, very prepared. I mean, his coach is one of the best coaches. He's prepared a lot of these guys for a long, long time. And we're not just talking about a lot of these guys. We're talking about the likes of Cain Velasquez, the likes of DC, the likes of Khabib Nurmagomedov. Javier Mendes has looked after these guys for a long, long time. And now he's looking after Islam's career. And I think for me, Javier Mendes, he's seen what Dustin has got to offer, because he prepared Khabib for Dustin, and I'm sure he'd do the same for Islam Makhachev in trying to prepare that fight together. And I'm sure they will leave no stone unturned in terms of what Dustin is now preparing. I mean, what his game looks like now, or if he's added new wrinkles to his game. It's their job to find out and try and mitigate that skill set or that new wrinkle that Dustin has added to his game. Because, like I said, when I'm talking about new wrinkle to his game, he might have been pulling those them guillotines in the gym, in the camp. He might have been trying to add that layer to his thing, and it was trying so desperate to show everybody that, oh, I've been pulling this off in the gym, man. I'm about to lock this guy up with this guillotine.
His newly found skills.
I'm about to lock this guy up with this guillotine, man. Let me pull guard on him and just lock him up. But no,
but didn't quite go as planned.
And if he tries that with somebody like Islam, I swear to God, man, it's over at the first attempt. If you don't catch it, it's over for you. We saw what he did to Do Bronx. Do Bronx try pull. He went right in there and he put that head in hand triangle on him. So, yeah, man. Let's see. It's whether they put it together, but we're not the powers that be. The powers that be, they be in the war room, and they put these things together, man. We have no say in it.
And they make sure we have structured violence. But someone who's stepping away from structured violence, Brandon Moreno. So earlier today, Brandon Moreno released a video on his Instagram saying that he's taking a break away from MMA, away from fighting, away from training. He's feeling a little bit stressed, mental health. And we've seen a lot of athletes across different sporting codes. For example, Simone Biles in gymnastics, a lot of tennis players. So we've had a lot of sports people who step away from sports because of mental health. So it's interesting to hear that he's taking a break, similar to Darren Till. I think last year sometime Darren Till said, listen, after he lost to DDP, actually, he said, let me just take a break. Let me step away from MMA. Let me regroup, refine myself, and come back. So what do you think about the Assassin Baby taking a break away from MMA at this point? And how important do you think it is for fighters to actually take a break sometimes, even when you're still at the level he's at, number in the top 3, top 5 of his division?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's not it's something that is now becoming more common and more common, and fair play to these guys, because they're the ones that put their bodies on the line. They're the ones that put their mental health on the line. They're the ones, that makes all these sacrifices for their families. They're missing milestones of their children, anniversaries with their wives and their partners. and sometimes some of them even go through personal tragedy, and they're back in the octagon the next day or the next week, or and so on and so forth. So for me, taking these breaks, I think is good. It's good. It helps them, at least reignite that passion back, because a lot of these guys, they don't just take break away all for mental realm. Sometimes they start to feel like their heart is not in it no more, and they need to reignite that passion. They need to, someone like a Triple C, the King of Creed. He took time away because he just wasn't there no more for him. Look at Easy right now; he's taking that hiatus and moving away from the sport. And it's not taking a permanent one away, but it's taking a good break away because he needed time for himself after taking a loss. So it's always a good reevaluation time, a good a great time to look in the mirror and take stock and see where what's really working, what their mindset, if everything is still worth the sacrifice, if it's still worth the pain, if it's still worth, you know, a lot of the things that they're leaving behind, just to chase the dream. So I get it. And Brandon Moreno has been very, very busy, very, very busy over the past couple years. He's taking on all comers. He's fought some of the best flyweights that the world has got to offer, in Figueredo, in Pantoja, in Royval, you name it, he's fought all of them, and he fought them all 2 times, 3 times. So, and this is a fighter that got cut from the UFC as well. So, big tip of the hat to Brandon Moreno on his career, and yeah, I can't wait to see him back. But that's when he's ready. Whenever he's ready to come back, we'll be here waiting for him.
I mean, he did get, I think, the submission of the year 2 years ago, where he beat Figueredo. And so, yeah, like you said, he's been putting in the work ethic for a few years. And you mentioned one of the greats, Israel Adesanya, as well, taking a break. For me, him taking a break was not just necessary, but there was nothing else for him to do at that point. He had been one of the most active fighters, and definitely one of the most, or the most active champion ever.
Yeah,
So based on that, he had literally done all he needed to do in a short space of time. Whereas if you take a fighter like Islam Makhachev, who's actively, realistically defending his title only once in almost 2 years,
in almost 2 years.
they're
And,
not
and
the
eh,
same.
eh, all these other champions, they're fighting all 6 times in that space of time. Easy fight three
Exactly.
times a year. If I 3 times a year defending that title, I think is what, top three most title defenses in the UFC, something crazy like that, right?
Mhm.
He's always defending that title, and he's always active. Win, lose or draw, he gets in there and he puts it on. And the same thing with Brandon Moreno. He's always busy. He's always taking on fighters, and you're always seeing him. I think he's fighting 2-3 times a year as well, and that's huge volume for what they have to do, because they have to do it at the top, at the elite of elite level. It's minor details between them losing and winning. And these guys are champions, they're winners, they always want to win. So they leave no stones unturned every time they're in camp. So yeah, I think the break is definitely justified for these guys, 100%.
Always want to win and always in camp. The Ultimate Fighter is coming, and that's basically always wanting to win and living in camp.
100%.
So the reason I'm bringing this up, the Ultimate Fighter is coming. We've got Alexa Grasso, the current champion, versus Valentina Shevchenko in the Ultimate Fighter. Now, on this specific season of the Ultimate Fighter, and when I say I think I mean we, as the South African MMA universe, have very special interest in this one, because we have not one, but two fighters on this season of The Ultimate Fighter. We've got Mark Frankenstein Hume and Rudy Roots, who are both in The Ultimate Fighter this season. And I mean, I just keep mentioning more and more accolades that are coming out of South Africa. So honestly, good luck to those two. I think they're going to have an amazing run in the Ultimate Fighter. I see one of them possibly even winning the Ultimate Fighter. So although that's not the best thing when it comes to the UFC, because we've got only Jamal Hill and I think one other, I think Brandon Moreno maybe, a fighter who've won the Ultimate Fighter and then have actually become champions. So it's not the best thing to win the Ultimate Fighter, but definitely a good step.
Kamaru Usman.
Kamaru Usman, another champion who's won from the Ultimate Fighter. That's right. So there aren't that many.
Not that many. I think Bisping is one of them as well. Michael Bisping.
Yes, but he didn't win the Ultimate Fighter.
Didn't win in the season. Let me quickly fact check that. I'm sure he's mentioned that before.
That he's won the Ultimate Fighter?
Bear with me. I could be wrong here, but bear with me.
I could be wrong. But yeah, so the Ultimate Fighter, so this season is going to be phenomenal because I'm definitely going to be watching closely and making sure that the whole of our following knows exactly what's happening this coming season. Plus, it's very rare that you have women actually headlining as coaches on the Ultimate Fighter. So that's also something that's amazing to see, is that now they've taken Alexa Grasso and Valentina Shevchenko as the coaches for the Ultimate Fighter.
So Bisping won the Ultimate Fighter December 2011 Ultimate Fighter 14 finale and knocked out Miller via third round TKO.
Jim Miller.
No, it just says
okay.
Miller.
So he's one of them. Then I have my facts wrong. Fact checked.
Yeah, cause I was pretty sure I've heard him before. He loves bragging about his accolades when he can. So I'm sure it might have been him and Kamaru that was talking about it, and they were both rubbing shoulders about being tough winners and then going on to be champions. I'm sure I heard it.
Am I thinking of Tough or Contender Series? Because it's one of the two that there aren't many champions of.
Yeah, it might be Contender Series. It's Contender Series. There's quite a handful of Ultimate Fighter winners that probably went on to win titles. So, but those two are definitely there, 100%.
I think next time we'll go into it and actually look at all the fighters and have a little field day and go into it and let the people know. But the next thing I want to talk about before we come to the end of the show is, honestly, I'm very glad we're talking about this because he's come up in every single show that we've done since I started the show, because it just so happens to be the fact that he is one of the biggest MMA stars in the world. He did the money fight, and now
God,
an international superstar, actor, movie star. Yeah. It's Conor, the notorious one, McGregor. I'm not sure if you've seen Roadhouse, but obviously Roadhouse came out on the first.
I watched it twice, and
so did I.
I watched it twice. Look, I like it. I'm not gonna kill Conor for his acting. It's garbage acting, but look, this is the first time on even doing that many scenes, because I thought I was just gonna say him in one or two scenes, as we did with, like, say, Francis in Fast and Furious. But Jake Gillingham is a top actor that I fuck with. I like Jake Gillingham a lot. That's not. But I like Jake Gillingham a lot. He's one of the top actors out there. But when you look at Conor's role in this show, the acting was, you kind of figure he's new to this. Yeah, I'm gonna be nice to Conor here. He's new to this. What I'm not gonna be nice to Conor about is his press conference with Jake Gillingham off the back of this movie, when they were promoting this movie. I don't know if you've seen it yet. If you haven't seen it, please take a couple seconds while I'm talking about the fight to quickly check. Conor was passing. It was passing. I don't know how he's gonna get past USADA. USADA ain't even in charge of the thing no more. Whatever corporation is in charge of the thing, Conor was passing out when it was right next to Jake Gyllenhaal. while they were talking about the movie and trying to promote the movie and going on their media tour. But as far as the movie in itself, Jake Gyllenhaal actually did well. I mean, top actor. He did. He took care of some of the scenes that went on in the movie. But yeah, Connor did well, man. Look, for his first time, I thought he was superb because of the volumes of scenes that he had to do. And when I thought this guy was dead, this guy didn't die, and he did that walk again. The walk he did. I don't want to spoil the movie for people, but the walk he did coming into the market is the same walk he did coming out of the hospital. So yeah, if you haven't seen it, go and check it out. Yeah, good movie. If you're an MMA fan, good movie.
Out of 10, how much would you rate it? What should the rating be on IMDb?
If they had given the role to a more accomplished actor, I'd say maybe 7 or 8 for the storyline and the execution of the movie. But because it was Connor and it's Connor's first, I'll give it a 6.5. 6? I'll go 6. 6. I'll give it a 6.
So what you're saying is interesting. For me, I actually liked his acting. Why? Because of what you mentioned. It was consistent from the beginning to the end. He did not break character.
He didn't break character, did he?
Not at all. And for me, that's really what acting is not breaking character, whatever character you've been given. So as much as we might have wanted a more refined villain, I suppose, for me, his consistency in that role was impressive. And like you said, not to give too much of a spoiler away, but the one scene where there's grappling, wow, honestly, I really enjoyed that fight scene. I think they did a really decent job of making it realistic, but also action enough. So, like you said, I think it was a very good movie. I rate it slightly higher than you. I'm at a 6.8, just shy of a 7, but it's a really decent movie. It gives a little bit of fun insight to MMA. The fact that fighters are just people in this world, real people with real issues, real problems. Anything can happen. So I think, definitely 6.8 to 7. It was a very good movie. But with that said, Ola, as always, where can people find you? Because I think we're coming to our time now. Tell people where they can find you.
Hey, people, you can check us out on Instagram, TFWS, the Fight Week Show official, one word. On Instagram, you can check us out on YouTube, the Fight Week Show, as you see on the bottom of the screen right there, and on Twitter, we got the Fight Week Show official on there as well. We're on all the streaming platforms. We're on Spotify. We're on all the podcast platforms, and please come show us some support. If you're new to the channel, make sure you're subscribing. Yao does a lot of work with us as well. We love collabing with Yao, but not just Yao, everybody that's in this space, and we love to break bread together. And but the Head Kick Pod is definitely one of the pods that is one of my one-stop shop whenever I'm dealing with African MMA and just talking combat sports with my fellow brothers. I definitely love pulling up with Yao and breaking down fights with him. So yeah, thank you very much for this one. Big pleasure to be on, and hopefully we can do one of these again, man. I enjoyed it.
Ola, we're definitely going to do this again. Thank you so much for making the time coming on the show. At Head Kick Pod, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We have a lot more MMA coming. We have a few Easter eggs coming. We have a few big things coming. Ola, I think you'll be looking forward to what we have planned over the coming year. We've got Ace Championship 3 coming. We've got Versus 9 coming. We've got EFC 112 coming. There's so much action going on. It's so exciting right now. Really looking forward to everything that's coming. And Ola, do you know how we like to end our interviews?
Show? Yes.
Okay.
Kick him in the head!
Kick him in the head! Yeah, that's right.
Let's go.
Let's go. Okay, Ola, we'll talk soon. Cheers.
Love.